In late 1847, Tahereh's father-in-law was the chief mullah of Qazvin, a city in Persia. This man was the epitome of a corrupt and hypocritical clergyman. So eventually he was murdered by an outraged sheikh. The son of this mullah had been married to Tahereh in an arranged marriage when she was about 11 years of age. And he had been furious that she had become a Babi. And so he had taken their children away from her and had seen that she was put under house arrest in the cellar. Now, to further get back at Tahereh and the Babi faith, he accused 4 innocent Babis of the murder of his father, one of whom was an 80-year-old man whom he had a personal grudge against. He then forced these 4 innocent Babis to walk over 100 miles on foot to Tehran, where they were then imprisoned in the cellar of the district bailiff's home in horrible conditions without provisions. 2 Babis in Tehran went to Baha'u'llah for his help. Now, Baha'u'llah, who was known as Mirza Hussein Ali in those days, was sometimes referred to as the nobleman from Noor, because he came from a noble family. His father had been a minister at court during the reign of the previous Shah. So these 2 Babis knew Baha'u'llah, Mirza Hussein Ali, had connections at court. And so as soon as Baha'u'llah had this request, he immediately mounted his horse and rode to the district bailiff's home. So I'd like to read you this account from my historical non-fiction novel, Persian Passion, because it dramatizes the first time Baha'u'llah was imprisoned on behalf of the Babi cause. Indeed, they are destitute of the barest necessities of life, lamented the bailiff to Mirza Hussein Ali. They hunger for food, and their clothing is wretchedly scanty. As dreadful as was the plight of the Qazvini prisoners in his custody, the bailiff deceitfully exaggerated their miserable conditions. The avaricious man was well aware of the celebrated generosity of Mirza Hussein Ali, Baha'u'llah. The nobleman from Noor, his open-handed largesse to the downtrodden was a known fact, to be taken advantage of by the unscrupulous. So the greedy bailiff suggested how a monetary contribution might assist the poor wretches. Had I the means, lied the bailiff, I myself would alleviate their plight. True to his reputation, Mirza Hussein Ali immediately provided funds to offset the deprivations of the innocent Babis enduring such cruel confinement. At the same time, he urged the bailiff to ease the severe conditions that had been imposed upon them. That autumn was unseasonably cold, making the prisoner's situation all the more imperiled. Upon accepting the funds, Khusra Khan, the bailiff, agreed to loosen the prisoners' tight-fitting chains and to provide them with some blankets. However, as soon as Mirza Hussein Ali departed the premises, the cunning bailiff conspired to derive every possible personal advantage from the profitable situation. First, he pocketed most of the money for himself. Next, knowing it paid double to play one courtier against another, he informed his superiors of suspicious contact with the prisoners of the nobleman from Noor. Soon, all of Tehran came to hear about Mirza Hussein Ali's, Baha'u'llah's, dubious association with the Babi movement and his questionable subtlety of the accused murderers. Meanwhile, the unscrupulous bailiff saw a profit to be made by fanning the fury of Tahereh's husband, whose father had been murdered. He informed this man, Mullah Muhammad, that a certain nobleman from Noor had given financial aid to the 4 prisoners. He also made mention that this secret donor was rumored to be a Babi. The vindictive ex-husband of Tahereh immediately accused this nobleman from Noor of complicity in his father's murder. He filed a formal petition for the immediate arrest of Mirza Hussein Ali. Upon learning of the false accusation against him, Mirza Hussein Ali, Baha'u'llah, responded in character. In a land in which the law was the whim of the one in power, in which no due process or legal defense was part of the judiciary process, where justice and mercy were as alien as any idea of democracy, most Persians, no matter how innocent, upon finding themselves in Mirza Hussein Ali's precarious position, would immediately take one of two courses of action. They would pay as many officials as much money as they could afford, or they would flee. Never predictable, and always exemplar of enlightened methods, the nobleman from Noor, Baha'u'llah, chose neither option. If an officer of the law accused him of breaking a law, he would allow the true facts of the matter to speak on his behalf. He would neither capitulate nor negotiate. Mounting his horse, he galloped down the narrow lanes of the capital directly to the bailiff's detention center. When the nobleman of Noor reined in his steed and dismounted at the bailiff's seat of detention, he found the officials there astonished by his appearance. Mirza Hussein Ali had once again thrown into confusion those of narrow vision. Neither the district bailiff nor his superior could find the nobleman from Noor anywhere among the limited cast of characters they assumed conducted the drama of life. However, once they regained their guise of official composure, they officiously raised objections to his having meddled with their prisoners. The bailiff, replied Mirza Hussein Ali, pleaded their cause to me and enlarged upon their sufferings and needs. He himself bore witness to their innocence and appealed to me for help. It is a very serious crime, frowned the senior official, shaking his head, to aid and interfere with state prisoners. In return for giving aid, which in response to your bailiff's solicitation, I felt impelled to extend, rejoined Mirza Hussein Ali, you now charge me with a crime of which I am innocent? The two government officials were accustomed to seeing those whom they accused grovel before them. They were as taken aback by the nobleman from Noor's bold response as they had been by his unsolicited appearance before them. Foregoing even the pretense of possessing any evidence, they alluded to his collusion in the murder of the chief mullah of Qazvin. Intimidation was their practiced habit for inducing bribes. But Mirza Hussein Ali, Baha'u'llah, made no offer to buy his way out of the trumped-up, albeit dangerous, situation. Consequently, an uncomfortable silence ensued. Finally, the bailiff's superior brazenly suggested that such a respected nobleman could be allowed to return to his home upon payment of a fine of 1,000 tumans, a princely sum. Although a man of considerable wealth, Mirza Hussein Ali refused to pay off the corrupt officials. The shameless superior then turned the screw. He said he would not permit the accused to return to his home or to quit the premises unless and until the fine was paid in full. Standing on principle, Mirza Hussein Ali stood his ground. Frustrated at not profiting from the situation, The officials then clamped the nobleman from Noor in chains and placed him behind bars. That's an excerpt from Persian Passion,